Welcome back. Finnigan 40K, Fight 'em Up series, heavyweight class. This is our semi-final round now. So our first fight is between Ghazghkull and Lionel Johnson. The Lion is looking at getting some vengeance for Ghazghkull killing Azrael, who is the Dark Angel's Chapter Master. So this is going to be a really good fight. Ghazghkull, as we saw in that fight there that Matt was here, not the best ballistic skill, very good in hand-to-hand combat. He shredded Azrael. And then we do have better range for Ghazghkull, so if you can get some lucky shots off, we'll see what happens. The Lion, as we have also seen, is incredible in hand-to-hand combat, so if these two get into it, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So as per our usual rules, we are going to be rolling some dice. This time I'm going to be giving the red dice to the Lion. And we're going to see how high he rolls, and whoever gets the highest roll off here gets to choose their corner of the board and gets to start first with their movement phase, shooting phase, and hand-to-hand. Don't think we'll be in hand-to-hand for a bit, but let's see how it goes. So here is the Lion. He has, could be a 2 or a 6. I'm going to re-roll it. The 1, that's not a good re-roll, and a 1. So we got a bit of a showdown here. Go with the Lion again. 2 and 3. So Ghazghkull has won the roll-off. It is going to be Ghazghkull starting on his side of the board, whichever one he wants to start at, and we're going to go from there. So looking for a really good fight. The next one up after this is Rabute Gilliman versus Angron. Don't know how that fight's going to go. I thought Rabute was going to get annihilated by Mortarion, but he won, so it's going to be very interesting. And then, of course, whoever wins this fight here, Ghaz versus the Lion, is going to be moving on to the finals to face whoever wins against Rabute and Angron. But let's get into this one. Be right back and set up the table and see where Ghazghkull is starting off. Okay, so we have our models set up on the table. Ghazghkull has taken the top right corner, as you guys can see from your angle. And then the Lion is down here. Big difference here is Ghaz's movement is only 5 inches, so he's going to be literally just kind of snailing along. And then we have the Lion at 8. Ghazghkull with Mork's Roar has a 36-inch range, which actually would have the Lion in range if there was line of sight. So I just went down here to check that center obstacle piece of terrain is the only thing that is stopping Ghazghkull from popping off a few shots. And we know that Ghazghkull, being a Goth Orc, wants to get right in there and fight. So we're going to do our moves here. It's going to be Ghazghkull first, and he might actually be able to get into line of sight here. And Ghaz is a pretty smart orc, so, you know, I think he's going to probably try to take a couple pot shots at the Lion here. He's not one to shy away from that. He loves to get into a scrap as well. But, so yep, he does have the Lion in line of sight and in range. I'm going to be rolling here with Mork's Roar, but the Lion is going to get the benefit of cover there. He's got that kind of shielded wall in front of him, so Ghaz is just able to see over it. So I'm going to give him that additional save. So we're going to see how that goes. I've decided for the rest of this too, I'm just going to continue to roll on the table. I've got some really cool ideas coming up here. Last Stand series may be no more, and I'm moving into something else, so we'll see how that goes. But Last Stand is always great too, so we'll see if that continues. But as of now, we got to get back to this Fight 'em Up series and get the heavyweights all done. 6, 7, 8, just counting up my dice. So this is Mork's Roar. It is 12 attacks. Gets an additional rapid fire 4, but he is not in that range. So let's see, it is a 5+ though for Ghaz. Ballistic skill is not great. I'm going to roll over here on the right side of the tower. Looking for 5s. Not a bad roll, actually, considering. So we have 4 shots through out of the 12. They are hitting at strength 5 versus toughness 9. So we're going to need 5s here to wound. And 1 has gone through. Mork's Roar, however, no AP. So we are going to have the save by the Lion at 2+. And he has saved it. So nothing's occurred there. Ghaz's turn is done, and we're moving back over to the Lion here in just a sec. There we go. All right, so this is now the lion's turn. He's going to be jumping off here. So he's going to be able to move 4 inches and then hop down. So there he is. His ranged weapon, I do not believe, is in range, and that is the Armaluminous Bolt and Plasma. There's 2 different profiles for that, and it is 12 inches. So he's not in range, but I'll just show you guys how close that's got to get. It's actually quite a good weapon too. So in this arc here for the lion, and then we're still in that 36. He's not going to get the benefit of cover this time either. And for Ghaz, that covers almost the entire table. It almost covers the full thing. So back over to Ghaz here. He's going to be moving his 5 inches. And I know we'd received a comment there too. It was a pretty good idea to have kind of like bodyguards in here with them. And that's kind of my idea for the next, I'll just tell you guys now, it's going to be called Finnigan 40K. I want to say Fuck Force 5, but this is not the channel for that. So it's Finnigan 40K. That was pretty good. Anyways, yeah, Finnigan 40K. Now I can't even remember what it was. Fight Force 4. So what it's going to be is it's going to be a whole bunch of different units that I have that are available. So I'm just looking at my cabinets right now. There's going to be Astra Militarum in there. There's going to be World Eaters. We've got Black Templar, Raven Guard, Imperial Fist, Thousand Suns. I actually don't have their codex, so I'll have to see if I can put the Thousand Suns in or maybe run off their old cards. I have Word Bearers. I have Emperor's Children. There are Crimson Fists, Chaos Undivided, Night Lords, Chaos Cultists. I have Death Guard. I have Sisters of Battle, Gene Stealers, Gene Stealer Cultists. I have Tyrannid, Dark Angels, Ultramarines, and the list continues to go on. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be made up of hence the 4. So a Fight Force 4. There's going to be a lead model. So it's going to be a character model, but not a named character unless that's all I have for that force. So a captain, a lieutenant for kind of the Space Marine side. For Death Guard, you'd have like a Malignant Plague Caster, that kind of thing. And then they're going to have 3 units with them. And the Force 4 is the 4. So you have the character, 3 support units, and it's not going to be able to go over 400 points. So I'm building that right now. I'm going to see what kind of armies we can do. There's been a lot of rule changes and a lot of stat changes. But that's the plan. So that's going to be next after the heavyweight. And I'm going to actually use a table that's very similar to this. So we're going to have a smaller table with tons of units. They're going to be able to get into it. I don't know if it's going to be objective point control. We'll have to see if there's going to be different missions for each round. And my plan with that too, and I'll include this again when I start that video, but we're going to have a starting force. So let's say I put in my 4 force of Ultramarines, and they will stay in for as long as they can against whatever enemies come in. So if they face Gene Stealer Cultists and they win, they stay in. If they face the Death Guard, they lose, they get knocked out, and then there's going to be an Imperium unit that's going to step in to try to take on the Death Guard. And I'm going to try to keep them separate. So I don't want to have Space Marines versus Space Marines. I see that a lot on channels. I understand some people, that's just the armies they collect, but it really irritates me. Because I guess you could have like Rebel Astra Militarum fighting against like Black Templar, but it's not really going to happen. So what I'm going to try to do is get actual Imperium versus Xenos and Chaos Space Marine. And we'll split that down the center. There's probably going to be a point where I might have to have Imperium versus Imperium. Xenos versus Chaos Space Marine isn't as bad, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, just wanted to tell you guys about that. Back to this one. We are going to be moving Ghaz here. So we moved him his 5 inches, and we're going to be shooting again with Mork's Roar. So again, just to show you guys, definitely in range, now completely in line of sight. He's got the lion right there. And let's see if he can do any wounds to him. I like Ghaz. He's, I don't know, he's a sick model too. When that first came out, like I know they were sold out for a long time. It's probably, I don't know, 5-7 years since he's been out. But really, really cool model. I just want to make sure I'm in frame here. We're good. So this is Mork's Roar again, hitting on a 5+. Actually, I have to check and make sure if he's in his 18 inches, I get an additional 4 dice. Oh, he's just outside. So it's going to be the 12, but that I have to remember for next turn because he's going to be in there if they're not in hand-to-hand. So we're looking for 5 pluses for Ghaz. Rolled those all out. Another decent roll. Not bad. There we go. And it is strength 5 versus toughness 9. So we are going to need 5s again. And once again, one shot is through. And this time the lion is going to have his 2+ save. There's no AP. I think it was 2+ last time too. He would have saved it automatically actually, but we're going to do that. So on the lion side, and he just saved it. He got his 2. So he continues to rock and roll. And these two are getting closer and closer to each other. So let's get the lion moving in here. And this is, again, lore specific. The lion is pissed off. He just lost Azrael, and Ghazghkull wants a scrap. So this is what's happening. Just going to see now if we're in range for the lion, and we are. So this is the lion's shoot now, and he is going to be firing with Arma Luminous. I'm going to be using the plasma profile because it's got a strength 8, and Ghazghkull has a pretty... He's not like... He's a big model, and I think I've said this before, but I think he's been kind of dumbed down from the past because the toughness 6, like he's got some crazy mech armor on there. But anyways, so here we go. It's going to be 2+. Both are through. It is strength 8 against the toughness 6, so 3s to wound for the lion. 1 fell off. 1 is through. It is -3 to AP, but Ghazghkull does have a 4+ invulnerable, which he did not make, and that is 2 damage. So the first wounds have been administered, and Ghazghkull is down to 8, but it is moving back over to him here in a sec. I'm just going to change out the angle. You guys might be getting bored from that side, so I'm going to flip it around and close it in, and we'll get this going. So over to Ghazghkull in just a sec. There we go, a bit of a fresh angle. It was on that other one for quite a while. We are now moving back to Ghazghkull for his movement. He wants to crump the lion. He's pissed off. He just got a couple of wounds chipped off of him. His nice black armor has been wrecked. So we're moving in here 5 inches. That's going to actually probably lead to the lion going into hand-to-hand combat first. But let's do this. Let's see if we can get Mork's Roar blasting here. It's going to be an additional 4 attacks because of the rapid fire. So that is going to be 16 dice firing here. And I'm just going to make sure we're in frame. Yep, perfect. I'm going to move back to the dice tray when we do the Fight Force 4. But for now, this is it. So another pretty good roll considering. That this guy has to have a 5+ ballistic skill to roll. So a few 6s through. Gonna still need that 5 to wound. That's the big one. It's hurting. And this time, no luck for Ghaz. So he tried. He's moved right in. He's probably within the lion's reach now for hand-to-hand combat. It wouldn't matter anyways if we got into hand-to-hand because the lion does have fight first. So there it is. They're locked in hand-to-hand combat. The attack on Black Reach all over again. Dark Angels, Orcs. And the lion is going to start here. So we're going to be hitting with fealty. I am going to do the sweep actually because it is a strength 6 attack. And Ghazghkull has that toughness 6. So I'm just going to roll those here. It is for the lion, but I just want to make sure because this looks like just a more open area. It might hit something in the side. So we have 16 attacks. So this is as many as Ghaz pretty much just had with his shots. So that's crazy. And these are coming in. Strength 6, not amazing. -3 to AP and 2 damage per. So this could actually be the end of Ghaz. We'll have to see what happens here. So looking for 2 pluses. Wow, almost every single one is through. So let me just make sure you guys can see that. That's the bottom one. Yeah. So there's only one rolled. So those are all through. And again, this is strength 6 against toughness 6. So that's going to be 4s to wound. That was a bit tougher to make. So lots of 2s again. Some 3s. They do not cut it. So there we go. Still pretty good. We have 5 attacks through. And I'm just going to roll with these against. This is for Ghaz's save now. It is a -3 to AP. That brings Ghaz up to his 4+. And there's a 2 under the Prometheum tank. I did not flip it. There it is. Oof. So he's made 2 saves. These 3 are through, however. That is 2, 4, 6 damage, bringing Ghaz down to 2 wounds. But Ghaz does get to fight back here. So I should have actually probably initiated his walk during that last turn to make sure that he had all barrels firing or all claws snapping and cutting. So we are going to use Gork's Strike here. It's less attacks, but this is where it's possible actually that the lion could get killed here. So we're going to see what happens. And again, there's also that mortal hit back with the Emperor's Shield, which is one of the abilities of the lion. So if he makes a 6 save, he can smash Ghazghkull in the face again and break his face, pretty much. So this is 2 pluses for Gork's Claw Strike. All are through except 1. That would have helped out Ghaz a ton if he had made that. It is Strength 14. That's wild. That's what got Azrael last time. Versus Toughness 9. So this is going to be 3s to wound. Oh, a couple more fell off. That sucks for Ghaz. It is -3 to AP, and that brings Lionel Johnson up to his 3+ invulnerable. This guy has an absolutely insane invulnerable. So here we go. Let's see if he can get some 3s. So he got 2 6s. Oh no. You guys know what that means. I was just mentioning that the Emperor's Shield. Anyways, so before Ghaz goes down here, he has been able to take 4 wounds off of the lion. So he was snapping and cutting, and he really did some damage. So the lion's down to 6 wounds. These 2, however, are saves, and I'll just read that for anyone that's watching this for the first time, seeing the lion fight. So the Emperor's Shield. Each time a melee attack is allocated to this model, on an unmodified saving throw of 6, there it is, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after it has finished making its attacks. So it just made its attacks. Ghaz did, counterattacked, 2 6s. Ghaz had 2 wounds remaining. That's 1, 2 mortal wounds. No save against that. Ghaz is dead. And the lion is moving on to the finals. So Lionel Johnson will be taking on whoever wins against Rabute Gilliman and Angron. Very possible that this could turn out the same way as we had in our middleweight. If you guys want to check that out, there's the Finnigan 40K Fight 'em Up Series middleweight class, which was between, spoiler alert, Marnius Calgar and Azrael. And Azrael made it into this first round as a heavyweight. And he was the one that defeated Marnius. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to actually get those 2 set up right now on the table. It's going to be Angron and Rabute. We're going to see how that goes. But the lion is victorious. And this model is nothing to snuff at. He's absolutely incredible. That invulnerable save, the shield, the fight first, the amount of attacks, pretty good ranged weapon too. Not the greatest distance, but definitely enough to kill Ghazghkull. So there it is. The lion has won and is moving on to the finals of the heavyweight. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and that way you're not going to miss anything like my Finnigan 40K Fight Force 4 that's coming up. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.